In the Marine Corps, there's a rank so disrespected that the Marines who hold it built an entire underground culture out of being disrespected. It's not the lowest rank, there are 2 ranks below it. Those 2 get handed out on a calendar. So does this one. The difference is that this is where the calendar stops and Marines pile up behind it. Lance Corporal, pay grade E3. Here's the rule that runs this whole video. The Marine Corps publishes a rank chart. E1 to E9 for enlisted, O1 to O10 for officers. Every Marine can recite it half asleep. The Corps also runs a respect chart. That one isn't published anywhere. It's enforced everywhere. And it does not match the first one. We're climbing the second chart. Private, E1. The insignia is nothing, a bare collar. 6 months of service, the command calls satisfactory, boot camp counts, and the company commander pins on private first class. A private isn't disrespected. A private is invisible. You can't hold a grudge against someone who hasn't been in the building long enough to earn one. Private first class, E2. 1 chevron, 9 months in service, 8 months in grade, and Lance Corporal shows up the same way the last one did. 2 ranks, both free, nothing asked of you so far except attendance, then it stops. Lance Corporal, E3, 1 chevron and crossed rifles. The last rank the Marine Corps will hand you, and the first one that becomes a wall. To pick up Corporal, you need a composite score. It's a running number, physical fitness test, rifle score, proficiency, and conduct marks, professional military education. That number has to beat the quarterly cutting score for your military occupational specialty. 12 months time in grade minimum. And the cutting score moves, because it's set by how many corporal billets are open in your field this quarter. In 2016, the Marine Corps looked at its own numbers. 92% of Lance Corporals who'd been at the rank a full year didn't have the score to leave it. 92%, so they built something. The Lance Corporal Underground is the rumor network of the lower enlisted, and it is not a joke. Word of a field op or a 96 reaches the Lance Corporals of a battalion before the commanding officer has finished deciding it. No structure, no leadership, no roster. It moves faster than the chain of command sitting on top of it. The word lance has nothing to do with a weapon. It comes from lancia spessata, broken lance, a medieval soldier who lost his horse and his lance and had to walk with the infantry anyway. Still a leader, nothing left to lead with. 700 years later, the name still fits. A boot lance corporal has clean gear and hasn't learned to hate anything yet. A salty one has 3 years, a deployment, and a permanent expression. Between the two, one of 2 things happens. He makes corporal, or he becomes a terminal lance. Still an E3 on the day he walks out the gate for the last time. He knows more than the boots. He knows more than some of the corporals. And every quarter a list comes out and his name isn't on it. Least respected rank in the Corps, also the only culture in the Marine Corps that senior leadership has never been able to touch. Corporal, E4, 2 chevrons, crossed rifles. This is the first non-commissioned officer rank in the Marine Corps. That sentence does more work than it looks like. In the Army, E4 is a specialist, and specialist is a punchline. In the Marine Corps, E4 means you lead a fire team, 4 Marines, in combat. Everything they do or fail to do is yours. Corporal's course isn't optional. The rank is a graduation ceremony out of the underground. The respect is real here. It's also provisional. You're the youngest person anybody will actually follow. Sergeant, E5, 3 chevrons. A sergeant is a squad leader. 13 Marines, 3 fire teams of 4, and you. The Corps standardized the 13-man squad in 1944. It tested squads of 12 and 15 for years. In 2025, it settled back on 13. The mission statement hasn't moved either. Locate, close with, and destroy the enemy by fire and maneuver. You own those 13 completely. Training, discipline, welfare, their divorces, their car payments, the phone call at 2 in the morning. This is where respect stops being issued and starts being earned. A sergeant who can't lead doesn't get quietly tolerated. He gets found out inside a week by 13 people who talk to each other. Staff Sergeant, E6, 3 chevrons, 1 rocker. E6 is the first staff NCO, the first rank that leaves the NCO world entirely. In a rifle platoon, the staff sergeant is the platoon sergeant, about 43 Marines, 3 squads, and a lieutenant. Something changes at E6 that Marines notice and almost never say out loud. Surgeons are respected by their Marines. Staff surgeons are respected by the institution. Those are 2 different currencies and the exchange rate is bad. Gunnery Sergeant, E7, 3 chevrons, 2 rockers, crossed rifles. Gunny. No other branch has this rank. It exists because of a problem in 1899. Marines aboard Navy warships helped man the ship's guns. 4 or 5 men to a gun, every crew needed 1 man who actually understood the weapon and could teach the rest. The Corps turned that man into a rank. That is still the job. As Company Gunnery Sergeant, you own ammunition accountability, equipment readiness, and the training calendar. You own the logistics that keep 180 Marines running. You advise the company commander. You advise the first sergeant. You are the joint between the staff and the line. And here's why gunny may be the most respected rank in the entire US military. It has nothing to do with the chevrons. It's that the officers ask. A captain with a plan runs it past his gunny before it becomes an order. Not because he's required to. Because the gunny has been doing this for a dozen years and the captain has been doing it for 4. The detail that proves it are Lee Aramey, Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, the most famous Marine in film history, the face of the rank, and he was never a gunnery sergeant. He left the Corps as staff sergeant in 1972. In 2002, the commandant gave him an honorary promotion to gunnery sergeant. The culture had already decided he was a gunny. The Marine Corps caught up 30 years later. Then it works. On his annual fitness report, a gunnery sergeant states which way he's going, master sergeant or first sergeant, tactical or command. In the Army, an E8 is an E8. Here there are 2 different careers that don't cross. Master Sergeant at E8 and Master Gunnery Sergeant at E9 are the technical track. Master Guns is the last word in his field at regiment or division level, usually with 20 plus years in. Nobody says Master Gunnery Sergeant out loud. It's Master Guns. The respect is enormous and quiet. He isn't in charge of anyone. First Sergeant at E8 and Sergeant Major at E9 are the command track. Sergeant Major is the highest enlisted rank in the Corps, senior enlisted advisor to a battalion, a squadron, or larger. That respect is real too, and it's a different kind. A sergeant major is respected the way a courthouse is respected. You do not want his attention. Ask a barracks whether they'd rather have a beer with the sergeant major or the gunny. You already know. Which brings us to the thing everyone sees and nobody writes down. Second Lieutenant, 01. The insignia is a single gold bar, which is why Marines call it a butter bar. A brand new one arrives as a platoon commander. He's responsible for about 43 Marines, including a staff sergeant with 10 years in. That second lieutenant outranks every enlisted Marine alive. He outranks the gunny. He outranks master guns. He technically outranks the sergeant major of the Marine Corps. And every single person in that platoon knows who's actually running it. That isn't a scandal, it's the design. The lieutenant is a decision maker in training. The staff NCOs are the ones training him while carrying the platoon in the meantime. The good ones work that out inside a week. The ones who don't get obeyed exactly, precisely, to the letter, which in the Marine Corps is a form of violence. Rank is authority. Respect is competence. The Corps issues the first one and flatly refuses to issue the second. So here it is. Least respected Lance Corporal. Not the bottom. And that's the whole problem. The bottom has an excuse. Most respected Gunnery Sergeant, not the highest. Not close. Doesn't matter. The Marine Corps hands out rank on a schedule and a score. It hands out respect for exactly one thing, whether the people around you would still follow you if the chart disappeared tomorrow. Tell me I'm wrong.